The one takeaway that comes to mind for me is really the constitutionality issue. Despite the administration's position on the unconstitutionality of DACA, that really has not been found by courts. And remember, my discussion on the Texas litigation, relating to DACA 2. The court found a procedural violation under the APA. They did not rule on the constitutional issue. And similarly with the current litigation, the court did not say that the president does not have the discretion to, end deferred action because it is a discretionary authority. Rather, that the reasoning that they gave for their action was arbitrary and capricious. So, the constitutionality, seems to be pretty firmly entrenched, with respect to deferred action. And again, it's been exercised many times over the years. And I think that sort of gets lost in the narrative that you hear in the media. That's one takeaway. And the other takeaway, I think, really is that DACA is although a big issue, a relatively small population, and, there are, strong arguments for saying that, legalizing DACA, takes the issue off the table and allows Congress to focus on, the bigger, more important problems. I won't say more important, but, problems that really permeate the immigration system and affect a lot more people, because our system really is dysfunctional in many ways. But DACA really has been drawing media attention, but it really is a small population. And so, in my opinion, if this were taken off the table, it would allow Congress to get back to work and, fix the rest of the immigration system, and address some of the problems that have been permeating the system for many, many years.
Thank you so much. And Raluca, yourself, do you have any sort of key takeaways for the audience?
I do. The most of the DACA beneficiaries today, they don't have permanent legal status. They don't have permanent residence or citizenship, not by choice. They don't have it because they are not eligible for it. And DACA was implemented for a reason, and it was implemented because Congress has been utterly incapable of filling this gap in immigration eligibility for a few decades. And taking DACA away is not going to fix the problem of undocumented immigrants in the United States. In fact, it's only going to make it worse. So really the solution is to pass legislation that would allow these individuals to get permanent resident status and eventually citizenship. There was mention earlier about the possibility of enacting legislation that would not have a path to citizenship. I don't think that would be a viable option because it would be in direct conflict with other provisions of the immigration laws that we have. So it would create a trickle effect to too many parts of the legislation that honestly have never been under debate in this administration or the prior administration. So at this point, it's really going to be a legislation with a path of citizenship or no legislation at all.
Thank you so much for that. And Randy, yourself?
Yeah. I guess I've just got one point that the DACA Dreamers, I'm not sure it really came out in our presentation, they're different from the unauthorized immigrant population as a whole, a little bit different from immigrants as a whole. They are a merit-based population. Because of the education requirement, because of the requirement they came in here as children, because they came as children, they went to school in the U.S. and learned English. They're going to be much better integrated than most immigrants who come as adults. They're a resource, and that's not lost on people in this debate. The debate about the DACA Dreamers is going to continue to be different, and that's what gives me optimism. Washington's dysfunctional. Everybody knows that. It's proving it by the day. But when they have to get something done, they usually do. And I still think there will come a time when something has to be done, and that time may It's probably not going to be for several months, but it will come. And I think there's just going to be such a strong, broad-based constituency for the DACA Dream population, there will be a solution. I don't know, though, as though it will include a path to citizenship.